This recording is for our state test interpreters who have graciously agreed to orally translate the state test for our emerging bilingual students. This brief video will provide a few helpful tips before interpreting for the test. We'd like to begin by thanking you for providing the service to our students. We value bilingualism, and we hope the students you are assisting will eventually become fully bilingual as well. But as we are working towards this goal, it is very important to have friends like you to assist our students so they can show their academic strengths without the language barrier. So again, thank you for your service. Along with this video, you will be receiving a non-disclosure agreement form to sign from the district. This is a state requirement from our State Department of Education. By signing this form, you are acknowledging that you know that all test content is considered secure and confidential, and you are verifying that you will not discuss the contents of the test in a manner that would assist a person to cheat or would in any other way compromise the validity of the test. You are also agreeing that you will not share the student-specific information that you may have learned either prior or during the test. By signing this form, you are saying that you agree to the terms that neither student information nor test information can be shared. In other words, you are signing a confidentiality agreement and abiding to the school privacy rules. We cannot discuss the content of the assessments with anyone, not even school personnel, nor can we discuss anything about the student, parents, or school staff outside the context of interpreting. We need to begin with a few definitions. An interpreter is a person who works with the oral language. A translator is someone who works with the written language. For these state tests, you will be using a combination of these skills acting as an oral translator, in that you will be reading the text in English and rendering it into the spoken form in the student's language on the spot in real time. For the test administration, you will be in a private space with a district staff member and the student or students if you are interpreting for a small group. There are a couple reasons for this. One, so as not to disturb other students who will be concentrating on the test, and two, for test security purposes. If administering to one student, you may have to look at the same computer screen as the student and orally translate directly from their screen. If a written response is required to a test item, the students can provide you the answer in their language for you to translate. But then all responses must be submitted in English, and you can put that in the student portal for them. When you are orally translating, you must translate as accurately to the written English text as possible so that it makes sense in the student's language. But your oral translation cannot explain terms, definitions, or concepts. It is a direct translation of the English text as possible. The student may respond in their native language for you to translate into English. Again, this should be an accurate translation that does not paraphrase or further explain the student's response. To assist you with orally translating the test, the district may have a separate computer monitor set up for you to view the test. The computer monitor will show the same screen the student is viewing on their own computer. The district will provide you with a written script of test directions to orally translate to the student before the testing begins. Once the test begins, you will read directly from the computer screen any directions, questions, or answer choices. You will read the text that is written in English and on the spot, orally translated into the language of the student. For test security purposes, you will not be permitted to view the test in advance, so the oral translation needs to happen simultaneously as the student is taking the test. The students are permitted extra time and a dictionary, but it must be a word-to-word dictionary. No definitions, phrases, sentences, pictures, or graphics are permitted. You, as the oral translator, may also use a paper dictionary if needed for some technical terms. For test security reasons, you may not use your cell phones for translation assistance. Like students, you may use an approved word-to-word dictionary and/or glossary. An electronic translator may be used instead of a paper dictionary, but the electronic translator cannot connect to the internet or store information. If the student does not understand your translation or the dictionary direct translation, you are not permitted to further explain it to the student. You can repeat the translation, but you cannot explain, show, or draw the meaning of a word or concept in the test text. This would be considered cheating, and so you are not permitted to paraphrase or provide synonyms. You are not permitted to help the student with the content. It's just the translation of the text. Some questions require a written response from the student in the online student testing site. To be scored, the response must be in English. The student can respond in one of three ways. First, the student can respond in English on their own in the test portal. 2, they can respond orally. And 3, they can respond in writing. So let's go over those a little more closely. So 1, if they have enough English skills and they can respond to the answer in English and type it in the computer on their own, they're fine to do that. They may also orally respond. If they respond orally in their native language, you will translate and type the student's response in English in the online student testing portal. If they orally respond in English, you will type the student's response verbatim in the online student testing site. If the student responds orally, the test must be given individually and not in a group setting. The other way a student can respond is by writing on a piece of blank paper. The student can write the response in their native language on a blank piece of paper for you to then translate that response and type the student's response in English in the online student testing site. There is also the option for the student to record their oral response in their native language. If the student does this, you can translate the response by writing it out in the online student testing site, but you must write the response as they will not score the recording. Any writings by the student on the blank paper must be destroyed after the testing. So just in summary, again, you are orally translating directly from the testing computer. And if a student needs a written response, you can type in their response into the computer in English. It has to be in English to be scored. So as districts are scheduling this, make sure that you report on time to the district for the testing to begin. They may give you a written copy of the overall test directions in advance, which is fine because it is not secured. And then you can translate that overall test directions in advance before the test. But the test items are on site in real time for security purposes. Make sure that you do not explain any concepts or provide definitions. Again, the student is allowed a word-to-word bilingual dictionary. And if the student writes on a blank piece of paper, make sure that that paper is destroyed after the testing again. So with that, again, we would like to thank you for providing this service to our students. We value your time and we value and appreciate your service. Thank you.